Let's bring in Jim Walsh, an international security expert and senior research associate at MIT's Security Studies program. It's my understanding, Jim, that you've actually been to Iran in connection with its nuclear program. Tell us a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, I visited several times in the early 2000s through 2009, and then really for the last 20 years, I've had a chance to meet with the president of Iran and their foreign minister when they visit New York each week for the UN General Assembly. So I've been watching this country for more than 20 years and know it pretty well. It's still capable of surprise, but I think regime change is a tough nut to crack. You know, in June, the objective was to damage nuclear facilities. And that's one sort of level of difficulty. Regime change is a higher level of difficulty. So I think this war is going to go on for a while.
The President Trump, says that he offered the Iranians free nuclear fuel. If you want nuclear fuel for a nuclear program, civilian nuclear program, you can have it. We'll give it to you for free. The Iranians turned them down. Doesn't that show you that they had other desires for the nuclear material they've been enriching?
Well, there's no doubt that Iran had a structured nuclear weapons program in the late 1990s, and then around 2003 shut that down. They don't seem to now. They have a lot of 60% enriched uranium, and should they choose to do so, they could convert that to bomb material. But there's been no indication to the intelligence community, the U.S. intelligence community, or anyone else that they were actively restarting their nuclear weapons program and were in the process of building nuclear weapons. I think that on the Iranian side, what they're probably wondering is, can they make a deal and will everyone follow through on their commitments? Can they trust the other side? Right now, they're just angry, right? They're upset that their leader was killed. So it's tough to bargain with people when they're angry. And I would say you can negotiate on the nuclear side. You can negotiate on proxies or missiles, but it's hard to negotiate over the identity, to get a country to basically submit to regime change. That's a fight for survival for most countries. And whether that's North Korea or Britain during World War II or Ukraine today, countries, whether they're good countries or bad countries, tend to fight very hard when it's an issue of survival.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily the country that's fighting, it's the regime. I mean, so many Iranians are out in the streets thanking President Trump, even thanking the Israelis for these attacks. The Iranian people would like to have a new government, would they not?
Well, I think that's a good point, John. And I would say more broadly, Iran is a weaker country than it was a year ago. It already underwent attacks once, which certainly attrited its capabilities. It's had economic problems and then domestic problems at home. You had large-scale protests and large-scale killings. Now, you got to ask yourself, when we bombed them the last time and there were protests, why wasn't there regime change? And that's because I think the government continues to have a monopoly over the use of force. The police and the security forces and the RGC, they all have the guns. And you saw what happened last time when protesters met guns. I think there's a chance that that could happen again. It's just an imbalance of forces. And unless the regime wants to give up, it's very hard to force them, if they have the guns, to give them up.
Yeah. 30,000 dead protesters will shut down a protest eventually, if not quickly. Jim Walsh, it's good to have you on. Thank you.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.